Good evening and welcome to the Meet the Candidate 2020 Forum, which includes candidates for federal, state, and county, Lockhart ISD School Board, City of Lockhart Mayoral, and City Council. My name is Abel Dela Cruz, and I will be one of your moderators this evening.
And my name is Stephanie Riggin. And it is our honor to thank our sponsors tonight. We want to thank the Greater Caldwell County Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, the Caldwell County Sheriff Association, the Lockhart Chamber of Commerce, and a very special thank you to the Lockhart Independent School District for allowing us to use this beautiful Jerry Ollendorf Performing Arts Center tonight. As a courtesy to everyone, could you please also silence your phones tonight?
The format for this evening's event is as follows. Questions for our candidates were submitted online and vetted by a panel of 4. They were checked for 3 criteria. 1, any question personal to one candidate but not relevant to the other candidates will not be asked. 2, questions that are rude or inflammatory in nature will not be asked. 3, if 2 or more questions are similar, they will be combined into one question. These questions were placed in a sealed envelope that we will open at the time the candidates are on stage. Due to time constraints, there is a limit to 2 questions per race.
And tonight there is a timekeeper present on the front row to alert our candidates of their time limits. Candidates which are running unopposed and are here tonight will be allowed 3 minutes to speak. Races in which all the competing candidates are present and questions have been selected and vetted will be given 2 minutes each for opening statements, 1 minute to answer each question, and a 1-minute closing remark. Candidates present tonight whose opposition is not here but have questions vetted will follow this same format. Each candidate will have a slide up on the board with their contact information provided by the candidate. So if you have a question or a comment, you can contact them individually. All candidates who are on the ballot were invited to participate tonight.
On your screen are important dates to keep in mind as the election nears.
Last day to register to vote will be Monday, October 5th.
Early voting begins Tuesday, October 13th.
Early voting ends on Friday, October 30th.
And Election Day, of course, is Tuesday, November 3rd. In round 1 this evening, we have our candidates for federal and state offices. Candidates present tonight are Mr. Roberto De La Fuente, Ricardo De La Fuente. Thank you, sir. Sorry about that. Mr. Frank Pomeroy, Ms. Madeline Eden, and Judge Chris Schneider. First up, for U.S. Congressional District 27 Democratic candidate, Mr. Ricardo De La Fuente. This race had no questions vetted. Mr. De La Fuente, you have 5 minutes to speak. The floor is yours.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me. My name is Ricardo De La Fuente. I'm running for Congress in Texas 27. This pandemic has really devastated this district, not only on economic level, but at public health as well as our mental health. Small business owners have been hit hard, and going around the district, talking to the small business owners, they didn't get the relief they needed. The big business got their bailouts, but the small business owners didn't get relief they needed. Small business is the backbone of the economy. My background is in infrastructure, creating jobs, and retirement homes. So I know what it is to fix our healthcare system, live a long, healthy life. My platform is centered on 3 things. Number 1, to fix our broken healthcare system. Number 2, make sure that everyone has a quality education. And number 3, make sure we revive our economy so it works for you, for me, and for all our families. I've been going around the district. I've been talking, the other day I was talking to a nurse. The other day I talked to a funeral director. I've talked to business owners that lost their business. And there's one thing in common that I've seen. And the word is resilience. We've all had tough days during this pandemic. And if you're a parent, I know some of your biggest fear is whether your kid goes to school and potentially gets COVID. What I love about this community here in Texas is the hospitality, the good principles, the morals, the faith, and the unity we have within our families. We need the same unity with our government. Our government is incredibly divided during this time, and we need unity. Regardless of party affiliation, I'm ready to be your voice in Washington. I'm ready to work for both sides of the aisle. I saw that the local and community response was much stronger than the federal response. The federal response to this pandemic was weak. If elected as your congressman, I'm ready to fight and be your voice in Washington. Not the special interest, not the guy up there, but you, the people of District 27. I want to fight on behalf of our families, our veterans who fought for our freedom, for us to have the right to vote. Well, I'm going to fight for them and their families and make sure they have the resource they need so they can be victorious back here at home. For the mother who's that nurse that's working the night shift at the hospital, who has her 2 kids that are going to school, that is working tirelessly and trying to save as many lives as possible, I want to be her voice in Washington. To the funeral director who's there consoling the families who lost a loved one. And if you lost a loved one, my sincerest and deepest condolences. It's very tough, and that void will never be filled. But we must fight for those and honor those lives that we lost during this pandemic. For those jobs that may not be coming back, well, let's have a positive mindset. Let's have a sense of optimism. Let's show the resilience that we can come back stronger and that new normal will be better than the pre-pandemic. We also need to support that entrepreneurial spirit in this district, the opportunity to create new jobs, to adapt. You know, I was speaking to an entrepreneur the other day that his business went under, but during this pandemic created a new business, but he didn't get the support he needed from the government. And you know what he was trying to create? A new school. Education is a platform for a society to prosper. And we need to make sure that our teachers have the resources they need, they're paid and compensated well, because when I was a young boy, I couldn't read that well, but I had a teacher that believed in me. And thanks to that, I had the gift where I can learn. Thanks to that teacher that believed in me, and I believe in those teachers, so I'm going to be fighting on behalf of teachers as well. I consider myself lucky to be breathing here with you today. Lucky to be campaigning and honored to be the Democratic nominee, the youngest one running for Congress in Texas. My opponent, unfortunately, has not shown up. Today, in this forum, he has not shown up. And that's what a lot of the constituents have been telling me. So I want to wrap up and tell you, this opportunity this November is for change. And I really hope we can come together as humanity, as one nation, indivisible, to show that we're truly unbreakable. And I'm ready to be your fighter in Washington and your voice. And it begins with getting out the vote. So my name is Ricardo de la Fuente. I'm ready to be your voice in Washington. And remember that there's no straight ticket voting. So you got to vote for people all the way down the ballot. The state reps, we got to flip the state legislator so we can fix this gerrymandering nonsense that we've had in our politics. And I'm ready to fight the culture of corruption that we have in Washington. I'm ready to fight for our families, fight for us, and let's have the faith to push us through. I really wish that all of you stay safe, stay blessed, and thank you so much for this opportunity. And I hope we can have a positive change starting this November.
All right. Thank you to Mr. Ricardo de la Fuente for his participation tonight. Republican candidate Mr. Michael Cloud was unable to attend this evening. He is serving in Washington, D.C. this week. He has written a brief statement which can be found on our website at www.lockhartchamber.com.
Our next candidate is from the Texas Senate District 21, Republican candidate Mr. Frank Pomeroy. Mr. Pomeroy has no questions vetted. Please take 5 minutes to speak to us.
Okay. Well, let me first of all say it's a pleasure to be back in Caldwell County. My district is 18 counties, and when you think about that, I have a little bit of Travis County, which is Austin, all the way over to part of Bexar County, San Antonio, all the way to the border where I got Webb County, Zapata County, Starr County, and everything in between. So when you think about 18 counties, there's a whole lot of drive time and a whole lot of folks in between with different priorities on one end up in Travis County to the other end down in Webb County. So there's a lot of folks I have met and a lot of things that I am working on and working with. Now, I do have quite a few platforms I would love to speak to, and I will in just a few moments. But one thing I want to make sure we understand is that as we go into this election year, I think that the last few months have shown us that we're into a very fight for the soul of America, if you will, and especially here in Texas. I think that though that there are many who are trying hard to flip Texas from the Republican rule that is there now to the Democratic, from red to blue, I hate to look at colors, but as far as party, but when I look at what the blue side has been standing for throughout the rest of the nation, I can't help but think that there's been a war declared on everything that's moral, ethic, biblical, anything of those ideologies. It seemed to be a war declared. And I am standing here today to admit and to put forth that I am not afraid to step into that fray. I am not a career politician. I have never held a political office. I have worked in election offices. I've been election judge. I've been in all kinds of different smaller fields. But as far as a political office, I've never held an office like my opponent's been in her office for 33 years. The Democratic Party that she is representing has changed a lot in 33 years. It has left that party that was there in 33 years ago. But yet she still chooses to align herself with that party. And I feel as though that this is an opportunity to bring new eyes in and look at what's going on in the state of Texas. In Laredo, where her home base is in Webb County, 33 years ago, poverty rate was at 32%. 33 years later, we're still at 32%. Something should have changed by now. And I look at many of the other things that I see going on within the state of Texas, and one of which, again, one of the primary platforms I do stand on is the right to life. I believe that a society can show itself and the strength of that society by how well it takes care of those who are the least capable to do such. And therefore, I think that life should be important, whether, and I'm saying from the womb to the tomb. In other words, I think that that child has the right to be born. And once that child is born, then we as a state need to start looking at taking the focus off of the abortion industry, like we so focus on so hard, and put more of our tax dollars and things of that nature, if we wanted to, into an adoption agency and look into doing child protective services, the adoption agency that we already have in place, to be able to mold it and make it to provide therapeutic aids for those mothers who are pregnant that cannot or will not or does not want to continue to raise that child, to be able to gift that child over to a couple who does. Allow that child to be born, and then as the gentleman in front of me was talking about, it is very important and critical as to how we educate our children. I think that we need to get back to focusing on allowing our parents who know these children the best on how to detect and point out how they shall be educated. Put the tax dollars back in their hands. That if you're affluent, you can send your children to a private school. But if you're not, you don't have that choice. Put the monies back in their hand to help them get there. So whether it's before birth or after, we need to take care of our children. And then looking at property taxes, there's no reason why the elderly who have bought and paid for their home have to worry about losing their home because of property taxes and things of this nature. Now, there's many platforms, many things. You can go to my website and see these things. I see my timer is already going off. Give a Baptist minister a mic, it's hard to stop in 5 minutes. But I will say, again, Frank Pomeroy, Pastor Frank Pomeroy, running for Senate District 21. I would love to intercede, ask and answer these questions that you guys may have. There are many more things we got to point out there. But guys, let's keep looking up. Regardless, let's continue to be the Americans and the Texans God has called us to be. God bless America. God bless Caldwell County. God bless Texas. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Pomeroy. Democratic candidate Ms. Judith Zaffarini was unable to attend this evening. She reports she is working and campaigning remotely. Her contact information is on the screen, and she too has written a brief statement which can be found on the Lockhart Chamber website.
Our next candidate up tonight are running for Texas House District 17. Representative Democratic candidate Ms. Madeline Eden. Ms. Eden, you have 5 minutes to speak.
Thank you. Good evening. My name is Madeline Eden, and I am the Democratic candidate for House District 17. That is Bastrop, Caldwell, Lee, Gonzales, and Karnes counties. I have lived in Bastrop for over 15 years with my spouse and our 4 sons. I've worked for over 3 decades in the Texas technology sector. I'm an entrepreneur, an inventor, and an engineer. Last year, I co-founded one of the fastest growing public benefits corporations in the country, and I worked there as its chief technology officer. In 2018, I co-founded the Texas-based nonprofit Register to Vote. My open source tools and software have helped to register millions of voters across the country, and the Register to Vote system is often called the closest thing to online voter registration we have in the state of Texas. My job is basically to go into work every day and fight for the people and against tyranny, and I'm asking for your vote in November so I can continue that work in the Texas legislature in 2021. I want your vote because when I am elected, I will represent you. I'm not going to represent corporate lobbyists or special interest groups. I'm running a grassroots campaign. I've received donations from hundreds of individual donors across the district who want to see improved and more effective leadership in Austin. My campaign does not accept contributions from corporate interests or business-funded super PACs. My opponent's primary financial supporters are essentially real estate and construction industry lobbyists. Before the pandemic, we had a healthcare issue here in Texas. More than 20% of our district in HD 17 was without healthcare, and that number has gone up significantly since the onset of the pandemic. Texans have been effectively paying billions of dollars in taxes over the last decade, while the rest of the country's effectively enjoyed improved healthcare coverage. We have not. At this point, expanding that healthcare coverage under the Affordable Care Act wouldn't cost us anything else. It doesn't cost us anything to insure an additional 2 million Texans right now. My opponent has effectively gone in and voted against healthcare for all Texans, women, children, doesn't matter. He's done so on the basis of partisan politics. And now we're in the middle of a pandemic, and a huge chunk of our state is without healthcare coverage. And that's kind of unacceptable when you think about it. We also need broadband internet service out here in the rural areas. 2 years ago, my opponent promised to make rural broadband a priority, and that was an empty promise. Over half our district is still without reliable or affordable internet services, and we really need them badly. They have affected everybody, and not having that internet available in the middle of a pandemic has been to the detriment of everyone. As someone with an extensive technical background, I feel uniquely positioned to lead on this front, and I've already been working to bring broadband internet services to our communities here east of Austin. My opponent has effectively been in office for 5 years and has not delivered on the most basic needs of our district. His landmark water legislation from 2016 did nothing to stop water marketers like Vista Ridge from pumping millions of gallons of our water away from our aquifers. The people of our communities, they need clean water, healthcare, internet access, and an advocate who will stand up for them at the Texas Capitol. We don't need another self-serving and complicit politician who toes the party line to the detriment of our people. Right now, Texas is at a turning point in our history. Our communities need effective leadership, they need advocacy, and we don't need a representative who keeps their head down and maintains the status quo. We need a leader who will actually get things done in Austin, and I am a leader like that. The elections this November will probably be the most important of our lifetimes for both our state and our country. Everyone needs to make sure that they are registered to vote. They need to make sure that they turn out to vote for candidates all the way down the ballot. If you want to learn more about me or my priorities, you can visit my website at edenfortexas.com. Again, my name is Madeline Eden, and I am honored to be here this evening, and I hope to earn your vote. Thank you very much, and please stay safe.
Thank you to Ms. Madeline Eden for her participation tonight. Republican candidate Mr. John Cyrier was not able to attend tonight due to a called meeting with Governor Abbott. He has a brief statement which can be found on our website.
Our final candidate for round one is District Judge for the 421st Judicial District, Republican candidate Chris Snyder. Mr. Snyder is running unopposed and will be given 5 minutes to speak.
Thank you, Stephanie. My name is Chris Snyder, and it's my privilege to serve the citizens of this county as your district judge in the 21st District Court. This is my 10th time to run for public office, from school board to district attorney to district judge, and I can't tell you how good it feels to be unopposed. No driving T-posts, no tying zip ties. I'm just going to sit back and enjoy it. It has really been a pleasure to serve as your district judge for almost 4 years now. Everything was going smoothly till we hit a roadblock in March. The COVID crisis has definitely affected the courts here in Caldwell County. We've had to shut down completely a couple of times, but we're back up and running. We've been conducting live hearings now since 1st of July. I get questioned a lot about when we're going to be able to start jury trials again. Technically, October 1st, under the Supreme Court rule, we can start again, but that's not going to happen until probably at least January. We have a backlog of cases we'll have to take care of at that time. But I'm privileged to work with an outstanding crew in our Justice Center out there. We have some wonderful people in the offices out there, in the district clerk's office, the district attorney's office. It's a wonderful team, and it's a pleasure to get up and go to work every morning. I won't take any more of your time. I ask for your vote. I think if I get mine, I'll win. But I'm going to ask you for your vote anyway. Thank you very much.
And again, we want to thank all of our round one candidates who came out tonight.
Well, Stephanie, it's probably a good time to mention ready, check, vote. Be sure that when you go vote, you take one of these 7 acceptable forms of ID to your polling place. 1, a Texas driver's license,
Or 2, a Texas election ID certificate,
a Texas personal ID card,
a Texas handgun license,
a U.S. citizenship certificate with a photo,
a U.S. military ID card with a photo,
or a U.S. passport book or card. Any of those will be acceptable. Okay, next up we have round 2, which is our county candidates. County candidates present this evening are Ms. Juanita Allen, Mr. Mike Lane, Mr. Hector Rangel, Ms. Debbie Cortez Sanders, and Mr. B.J. Westmoreland. First up will be candidates for district clerk. Republican candidate Ms. Juanita Allen. She will have 2 minutes to make an opening remark. Ms. Allen, the floor is yours.
My name is Juanita Allen, and I am running for the position for Caldwell County District Clerk. The District Clerk is the custodian of all court pleadings, instruments, and papers that are part of any civil and criminal case filed in the District Court. The District Clerk also coordinates jury selection, collects filing fees, handles funds held in litigation, and prepares and submits activity reports to the Texas Office of Court Administration. As far as myself, I am a lifelong resident of Caldwell County and a proud graduate of Luling High School. I have over 14 years of experience in government, starting in 2005 when I went to work for Nina Sales in the Caldwell County Clerk's Office. In 2006, I transferred to the Caldwell County District Clerk's Office, where it was my privilege to work under both the late Imogene Shuley and Tina Morgan Freeman. In 2017, I accepted a position in the District Attorney's Office working for Fred Weber, which I held in my appointment as interim District Clerk in January of 2020. Since my appointment, we have improved data entry, maintained excellence in compliance rating with the state. Our financial reports are timely filed and fully meet all local and state requirements. I have also improved communication between my office and other offices of the court system. I am asking you please to consider my over 13 years of experience as a Deputy District Clerk and Interim District Clerk. I have experience in all aspects of District Clerk's office, which is vital to ensure the office operates at a level to meet the demands and expectations of a growing county. I respectfully ask for your vote in the upcoming election.
Thank you, Ms. Allen. Actually, we do not have any questions for you. We can give you 1 more minute if you'd like to tell us anything else. Well, thank you for coming out tonight. We appreciate your participation. Her opponent, the Democratic candidate, Ms. Sandy Riojas, was not able to present for tonight's forum.
Next are candidates for Caldwell County Sheriff. Republican candidate, Mr. Mike Lane, and Democratic candidate, Mr. Hector Rangel. Mr. Lane, you will have 2 minutes to make an opening statement.
Good afternoon. Many of you know me, but for those of you that don't, my name is Mike Lane. I'm currently the Chief Deputy at the Sheriff's Office. And one of the things that I keep hearing is that if I'm elected, that things are just going to stay the same. So I'm going to try in 2 minutes to get a few of those things out of the way. One of my first things is going to be bringing someone from the outside in as the Chief Deputy. I have a couple of options available to me, but I want somebody in a position of that can make change, that has seen the growth that we're about to see here, that has been in the department going to where we're about to be. I want to restructure and change some job descriptions for better flow and workload responsibility. I want to continue the training with the patrol deputies to become mental health certified. That's one of our biggest things in Caldwell County is mental health, along with everybody else in the state. I want to continue to bring training to the community through Alert as well as the Citizen Academy, allowing continued and even more improved transparency of the office. I want to build on existing relationships with other law enforcement agencies, law enforcement, fire department, EMS, and mental health partners. I want to bring substations. I've already talked to several people. We have the ability to bring substations in at little to no cost. This is going to put the deputies in the neighborhoods. This is going to put them in Lytton Springs, McMahon, Luling, Martindale, Maxwell area. I don't have it completely lined up, but it is in the works. I want to continue to bring GED classes and as well as a multitude of other classes to our jail. Ladies and gentlemen, these are people, these are our neighbors. These are the people that we live next to, the ones that we deal with when we go to the grocery store. We want to make better neighbors the best that we can. We want to give them the opportunity to succeed. We have a GED program that has done very well over the years. We have anger management. We have other things going on. This is a small sample of things I'd like to change. Again, my name is Mike Lane, and I humbly ask for your vote.
Mr. Rangel, you have 2 minutes.
Good evening, Caldwell County. For y'all that don't know me, my name is Hector Rangel. I'm a longtime resident of Caldwell County. I'm a local business owner of a business here in Lockhart of 55 years known as Eddie's Drive-In. I'm currently the interim chief of emergency management here for Caldwell County, and I've been dealing with the COVID issue since March. We have been pretty busy in our office, so it was really hard to campaign and get out. But let me tell you what I bring to Caldwell County. I've served in the military 32 years, 5 years active duty with the U.S. Army under the 101st Airborne Division, and also served 27 years with the Texas Army National Guard. One of the things that I did for the Guard is that I did a lot of deployments. I was deployed by five presidents, starting with Reagan all the way to Obama. A lot of the missions that I did were on our Texas-U.S. border. I worked with law enforcement, U.S. Federal law enforcement, DEA, U.S. Customs, and Border Patrol. So I have the experience on the federal side. Local side, I worked 2 years as a deputy sheriff with Caldwell County, 7 years with Austin Park Police as a patrol officer, and also a Marine enforcement officer. I have 14 years experience as a law enforcement officer, 22 years as a Texas peace officer. But I have a lot of experience with leadership. That's what Caldwell County needs right now. We need leadership. We need guidance. We need to bring more officers into the limelight of Caldwell County. Caldwell County is about to blow up. 2720. FM 2720 is about to have about 1,200 homes. We need more officers. We're not going to have enough. Back when I was here as a deputy, we only had 2 officers and a supervisor. Right now, it's 3 officers and a supervisor. I'd like to change that and add more officers because the officers are the backbone of the sheriff's department. And that's what I plan to do. I have the leadership, the idea, and the future to take Caldwell County into the 21st century. And by me being out there, I will be also a working sheriff, one that's accessible, and one that you can come and call any time of the day, 24/7, 7 days a week. I will be there for you. My name is Hector Rangel, and I'm asking for your vote November the 3rd. Thank you.
Okay, we're going to move into the question phase here. We have 2 questions. First up will be Mr. Lane, if you want to make your way to the podium. The county sheriff is the highest profile law enforcement officer in the county. Would you, and if so, how, seek to demonstrate that the sheriff and his office balances rigorous enforcement of the rule of law with compassion and respect for all residents of the county?
Wow, that's a great question. Whew. So the law is the law. The penal code is the penal code. But what we need to do is we need to have partnerships with our citizens. One of the things that I want to do is I want to bring the Citizens Academy in. Let the citizens see what we're actually doing at the sheriff's office. One of the things that we keep getting told is that we're not transparent. Ladies and gentlemen, come to the sheriff's office. Come talk to me. I'll show you what we're doing. There's nothing that we're trying to hide. We're very proud of all the things that we have done. And our job is to be a part of the community and to work for you.
Thank you. Mr. Rangel, I'm going to repeat the question.
Yes.
The county sheriff is the highest profile law enforcement officer in the county. Would you, and if so, how, seek to demonstrate that the sheriff and his office balances rigorous enforcement of the rule of law with compassion and respect for all residents of the county?
Well, me being a longtime resident of Caldwell County, and hopefully I'll get to be the sheriff of Caldwell County, I will look into all the policies that Caldwell County has in place right now. If they need to be revamped or reorganized, I will do so. We have to take Caldwell County into the 21st century, and if we don't, we're going to fall behind. And I believe that our citizens of Caldwell County are the most important people out here. We must protect them against crime. We must protect them against drug gangs that are probably coming into the county. So yes, the sheriff's department, the sheriff's deputy, sheriff's is the most important person out there, and he's the one that's going to dictate everything that's going on and protect the families of Caldwell County.
Thank you. You're also going to, Mr. Rangel, you'll get to start the next question. The second question is, each of you has significant law enforcement experience. At this particular time in the sheriff's office, what leadership skills and experience are most needed? And what will you do to guide the office for the next 4 years?
Well, again, I'm military, and I have a lot of military leadership behind me. So leadership is the most important part of any department. You must be able to have the backbone to do things. You know, teach the young guys about leadership, mentor them to be leaders in the community, and teach them everything there is to know, and also to be the best that they can be and provide the service and that the Caldwell County citizens need. It's very important that our younger officers stay with the county, offer them better pay, and so on. So I ask, you know, that if I'm elected, I will put more officers on the street. Yes, it's going to be hard for the first year, but it could be accomplished with just a revamping and reorganization of Caldwell County. It could be done. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Lane, would you like me to repeat the question?
Yes, please.
Each of you has significant law enforcement experience. At this particular time in the sheriff's office, what leadership skills and experience are most needed, and what will you do to guide the office for the next 4 years?
I'm going to be there. I work with these gentlemen day and night. If they have a significant call, I'm out there with them. Before COVID, I went through the jail, one of the biggest, and on a daily basis, not to check on making sure that the walkthroughs were done, which they already were, but to check on the individual officers. Because if the officers are happy and they feel like they are cared for, then they're going to do a better job for you. I've learned many things in my career. I started off as being, I'm the person that's in charge, to, you know what, my job is to make sure that I work for you. And you have to treat each individual as an individual, not, you have to do it my way, but you have to treat each employee as the individual. You get the most work that way.
Thank you. Mr. Lane, you will now have 1 minute to make a closing remark.
Sorry, I wasn't ready for that. All right. Why Mike Lane for Caldwell County Sheriff? I hold my master peace officer, my master jailer. I'm an advanced instructor, firearms instructor. I'm a special investigator. Through the Texas Commission on Law Enforcement, I also am an alert instructor through Texas State University. I have over 3,000 hours of law enforcement training. I have 22 years as an active Texas peace officer, over 22 years as a corrections officer. I'm a graduate of Leadership Command College. That's through Sam Houston State University and the Bill Blackwood Law Enforcement Management Institute of Texas. I have approximately 13 years of experience with the budget for the Sheriff's Office. This year, that will be over $8.2 million. I have a good working relationship with the DA's office as well as the Commissioner's Court. I'm on the board of directors for the Texas Chief Deputies Association. I'm the vice chairman for the Criminal Justice Advisory Committee, or CJAC, through the Capital Area Council of Governments, or CAPCOG. Thank you very much. My name is Mike Lane. I humbly ask for your vote November 3rd.
Mr. Rangel, you now have 1 minute for a closing remark.
My top-notch military training and law enforcement experience placed me in an ideal position to effectively serve the citizens of Caldwell County by increasing productivity, retaining good staff, nurturing future leaders, and enabling ethical decision-making. I will tirelessly to restore the reputation and cores needed to bring the Sheriff's Office back to a position of genuine public service. I make the solemn promise that I will fully present and be accessible to the public as a sheriff. I will never become an absentee sheriff, and nor will I allow any of my member or administration to perform the duties of the citizen of Caldwell County have elected me to perform. It's time for change. With the current administration at the Sheriff's Office, if you're not satisfied with the Sheriff's Office status quo and lack of visibility and leadership, let's change it. Join me. My name is Hector Rangel, and I'm asking for your vote. Thank you.
Thank you to Mr. Mike Lane and to Mr. Hector Rangel for their participation this evening.
Our next candidate is for Caldwell County Tax Assessor Collector, Ms. Debbie Cortez Sanders. There were no questions submitted for this race. So, Ms. Cortez, we will give you 3 minutes to give us some information about yourself.
I'm Debbie Cortez Sanders, and I am running for Caldwell County Tax Assessor Collector. I retired from the City of Austin with 26 years of service. I then went to work for the Caldwell County Tax Assessor Collector's Office for 3 years. In 2015, I decided to run for tax assessor. Then I found myself no longer employed by the tax assessor's office. I come from a family that gives back to the community, from my husband in law enforcement to my father-in-law who served as former mayor of Lockhart. I served as president of the Lockhart Evening Lions Club as well as vice president for 2 years. I am running for this office because it's been far too long that the tax assessor's office has had inadequate leadership. We can change that. It's time for a tax assessor with a new vision. I pledge to you that I will make customer service my top priority. I will bring professionalism to the tax assessor's office. Many might be wondering, what is a tax assessor collector? In the county of Caldwell, the tax assessor collector title is very misleading. They do not collect property tax for the county as most people think. At the tax assessor's office, the services are vehicle registration and title transfer, vehicle registration, handicap placards, just to name a few. Basically, the tax assessor's office is the local Department of Motor Vehicles. So you're probably wondering, what will I do for you? I will make the tax assessor's office accessible by staying open late a couple of times a month for those that work outside of Caldwell County. I will look into setting up vehicle registration to be done at our local HEB, which is offered in other counties. I will bring the tax office website live where you can save your place in line before you come to the office, which is also offered in other counties. I am running for this office for you. Whether you're a Democrat, Republican, Libertarian, or Independent, I will be there to work for you. On November 3rd, vote for the candidate that is going to be there for you. Vote for Debbie Cortez Sanders to be your next tax assessor collector.
Thank you, Ms. Cortez Sanders. We appreciate your participation tonight. The Democratic opponent, Ms. Darla Law, is out of town this evening.
Our final candidate for round 2 of the county races is for Caldwell County Commissioner Precinct 1, Republican candidate Mr. B.J. Westmoreland. Mr. Westmoreland, you have 2 minutes to make an opening remark.
Thank you, Abel. Good evening. I'm B.J. Westmoreland, and I'm the current county commissioner for Precinct 1. I would first like to take this opportunity to thank all of those who made this evening possible. Your efforts are greatly appreciated and do not go unnoticed. In my time as commissioner, the court has considered and implemented many important initiatives. These have run the gamut from transportation to economic development to general county policy. While these are all important issues and deserved the court's attention, they are by no means the end of the list of issues that need to be considered in order to place Caldwell County in a better position to face the challenges in an ever-changing world. We must do these things and we must face these issues in order for the people of Caldwell County in order to provide the people of Caldwell County a better life, a better opportunity, and for them to be proud of the community that they call home. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Westmoreland. We have one question. It's a mouthful, so bear with me here. Our district is generally expected to face higher water stress due to the effects of climate change. With regard to groundwater, is the rule of capture compatible with the effective conservation as the area population continues to grow? If not, what alternatives do you envision and what role does the county play?
That's an interesting question. The county actually has no authority over this, but my opinion on it is that we as the Commissioners Court do need to make sure that we have very good communication with our state legislators in order to understand that they are aware of the issues such as water conservation and other environmental factors that the district will face. Our job is to really communicate those to our elected representatives that are in higher offices than ours in order to make sure that they're aware of what we are facing and how to best provide for the state as a whole. Thank you.
Mr. Westmoreland, you have 1 minute to make a closing statement if you'd like to.
I appreciate that. It's been a distinct pleasure to serve the people of this county. I have thoroughly enjoyed my 2 years on the Commissioners Court. It has been a very eye-opening experience. I've learned quite a bit as far as the court's responsibility and governance of this county. I would greatly appreciate your consideration for vote and to return me to the court for the next 4 years. Thank you.
Thank you to Mr. B.J. Westmoreland for your participation tonight. Opponent Democratic candidate James Jimmy Bertram is not present this evening.
Abel, we need to tell folks about early voting places. One of them will be at the Scott Annex Building at 1403 Blackjack Street in Lockhart, Texas. And again, early voting begins on Tuesday, October 13th.
For Luling residents, you can vote at the Luling Civic Center, which is located at 333 East Austin Street in Luling. Moderators, next we want to welcome to the stage all candidates running for Lockhart Independent School District School Board in district order. District 1, Dr. Barbara Sanchez and Ms. Lisa Gerlitz. District 2, Ms. Lori Lay and Mr. Rene Reyes. And District 3, Mr. Nick Metzler and Mr. Sam Lockhart.
For District 1 candidates, Dr. Barbara Sanchez and Ms. Lisa Gerlitz. Dr. Sanchez, would you please give us a couple of minutes of your time?
Thank you. My name is Dr. Barbara Sanchez, and I'm candidate for Trustee District 1. I'm a lifelong resident of Lockhart and a Lockhart High School graduate. I earned an academic scholarship to attend Texas Women's University, and I completed my bachelor's in education and a master's in reading education with several certifications. The key to my journey was education, and that created doors of opportunity for me. That is why I'm running for school board, because every student deserves a quality education. My teaching career began here in Lockhart ISD, and the power of my teaching peaked when my students realized their full academic potential. And I've always advocated with passion for student success and excellence, and that resulted in many of my students succeeding academically. And of course, at the same time that I advocated for other people's children, I did that for my very own children who are also graduates of Lockhart High School with academic achievements, and they also have university degrees. My career took me to ISD, and there I worked as a team member with other teachers and administrators, and our focus was on school improvement. And the thread that kind of ties my background has to do with connecting education and providing that for students. So I'm going to close with the focus on the education that you want for your children is the education that all parents want for their children. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Gerlitz, you have 2 minutes also.
Good evening. My name is Lisa Gerlitz, and I'm excited to be running for trustee position for District 1 on the Lockhart Independent School District Board. I have been a Lockhart resident for over 20 years and reside in the county with my husband and 2 children. With 2 children attending Lockhart schools, I am committed to this district. Lockhart ISD is facing many burning issues right now. If you consider the pandemic and our rapidly growing student enrollment, LISD will have to make some major decisions soon. My background at Texas Pharmacy Association, as well as my long history of participation with LISD schools and serving on numerous committees, I'm qualified and prepared to navigate with details to help make those decisions. As a Division Director of Education and Membership for the Texas Pharmacy Association, I'm responsible for accrediting continuing education for pharmacists. I understand the learning process and evaluating current methods for relevance and effectiveness. I can also handle large budgets, policy, governance, human resources, and marketing. I'm a data geek and love digging into the issues to find the best, most economical, and efficient way to bring about change or to make things happen. I truly love this community. My passion is with the schools and students, as well as working with the teachers. This is why I've been involved with our schools since my son was in the 1st grade at Plum Creek Elementary. He's now a freshman. My involvement goes beyond helping in the classroom. I have been involved in many facets of education, including helping to form a new PTA at Plum Creek Elementary School and now a new PTA at Lockhart Junior High School, and serving on numerous LISD committees. Along with that, my involvement in the community began with leading kids from Cub Scouts all the way through to Boy Scouts, now working on their Eagle Scout, and leading a Girl Scout troop. This keeps me involved with the younger generation quite a bit, as well as with the teachers and administration in this district. I will work to continue to bridge the gap between our parents, students, other community members, and LISD.
Thank you. We have a couple of questions tonight. So Dr. Sanchez, we're going to invite you back up. And this is a pretty long question. So we hear from our civic and business leaders that one of the keys to improving our community is attracting new businesses and residents. Will you support a bond to build and improve our schools so that we will support the growth that is coming and are better able to attract new businesses?
That's a very important question and a very important issue. And I think that is very critical for us to re-examine those things that worked effectively in presenting to the community what was the benefits of the bond package. I think it's important to bring input and bring people that had a dissenting voice to understand how critical it is to actually provide the resources and facility needs that are necessary for the students of Lockhart Independent School District. So certainly I will focus on making sure that we encourage all the community and businesses to support a new bond package. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Gerlitz, we're going to invite you up for the same question. Would you like to hear it again?
Sure.
Okay. We hear from our civic and business leaders that one of the keys to improving our community is attracting new businesses and residents. Will you support a bond to build and improve our schools so that we support the growth that is coming and are able to better attract new businesses?
Yes, we have a rapidly growing student enrollment. The 2019 numbers show a 2% growth over the past 2 years. District-wide, there are currently plans for adding over 3,600 additional real estate lots for growth. This could significantly affect enrollment numbers. Our capacity in our current schools is 6,700 students. With current numbers, we are set to outgrow that capacity within 3 years. And some of the lower grade levels are already at capacity. We have to figure out how to add space for this expected growth without being a detriment or safety issue to our current students and teachers. Increasing class size is not the goal. We owe our students and teachers better than that, and I fully support a bond and will be looking forward to seeing how that works out.
Okay. If you'll stay at the podium with us, you get to answer the next question first, please. Okay. This one's a little shorter. What is your plan to address the extreme overcrowding at the junior high? 1 minute, please.
So as I just stated, we are severely at capacity for the junior high. We need to figure out how to effectively grow the junior high, whether that's with the bond package and getting another school built. The students are already maxed out in the hallways, in the cafeterias. The class sizes are at capacity, and the younger classes that are coming in are even larger than the current classes we have today. So I think that we just have to sit and figure out how to make that a possibility.
Thank you. Dr. Sanchez?
Thank you for the question. You identified a major issue that has to do with overcrowding. And to make the schools more effective, it's important that, of course, we go back to the table and bring teachers and community members and administrators back to the drawing board to identify the best possible solutions to address the overcrowding and to be able to recognize what resources and how much money that's going to involve to again come to the table to present a package that addresses the needs of the middle school students, because it affects academics, it affects teacher resources, and that's an important issue that we have to come to the table again to problem solve and really address. Thank you.
Well, Dr. Sanchez, we're going to let you stay up there one more time, and we're going to give you 1 minute for some closing remarks, please.
Thank you. As a single parent, it was important for me to demonstrate to my own children that from any crisis in life comes an opportunity. So I completed my PhD program at night and Saturdays, and that was a major sacrifice. But with that came more opportunities. Education is the key, and that allowed me to work at the state level, the Texas Education Agency, Region 13, and then I was recruited to be an assistant superintendent in Elgin. And then later I was asked to join a training team of professors from the University of Australia to provide staff development for teachers across the region. So why would you vote for me? Because an investment in knowledge pays the best interest. I bring passion as a successful single parent, diverse experience, and professional background to work as a team with other LISD board members to meet the needs of all learners and support educators and parents in their efforts to increase student success. I look forward to working together with all stakeholders to secure a quality education for all students, and I ask for your vote. Thank you.
Ms. Gerlitz, any party remarks for us, please?
I believe that my background working with the association, years of experience on serving on LISD committees, and being active with my own children has prepared me for a Lockhart ISD trustee position. I have listened to students, teachers, administration of this district. I'm familiar with and understand the administration part of LISD. I'm confident that I can use my experience to see things from both the educator perspective and the parent perspective to help make the best decisions for this district. I am committed. Having 2 children in this district makes me work harder to make sure that Lockhart ISD is providing the best education possible for our students. It also makes me want to work harder to prove to them that they are capable of being and doing anything that they wish to achieve for their future, and that they too can affect change. I would sincerely appreciate your vote and support. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Sanchez and Ms. Gerlitz. We appreciate your time.
Up next for school board, we have candidates for District 2, Ms. Lori Lay and Mr. Rene Reyes. Ms. Lay, if you'll make your way to the podium. You have 2 minutes to give an opening statement.
Good evening, Lockhart and Caldwell County community, Chamber of Commerce's, and Superintendent Estrada. I'm excited to join you this evening as a candidate for the Lockhart ISD School Board Trustee for District 2. I'm the proud mother of 3 children who are attending Lockhart High School, and also I have a spouse. As an educator for 27 years, including being a teacher to a principal, testing coordinator, and human resource officer, and now a young entrepreneur within our real estate business, I appreciate the vitality of a strong school district for our students and for our community. Our district is the heart for the students we serve. As a Lockhart resident for 18 years, I've been amazed by the growth of this small town.
as well as the true sense of pride of being a Lockhart, with meeting people who are Lockhart alumni, parents, grandparents, and just students who are living this good life within our community. My goal in seeking the election for trustee is to serve and give back my time to a great district of students and teachers as we influence the policymakers to make the best choices and decisions for our unique needs of our district. I am proud to be a candidate for District 2, as well as a humble member of this Line community. Thank you again. My name is Laurie Lay.
Thank you. Mr. Reyes, you have 2 minutes.
Good evening, everyone. I am Raymond Rene Rios, and I'm a candidate for the Lockhart ISD Board of Trustees, District 2. I am a lifelong resident of Lockhart and a graduate of Lockhart ISD, class of 1997. I graduated from Texas State University with a bachelor's of exercise sports science and a minor in health and wellness. I am currently employed with the Texas Health and Human Services as a program specialist with the Family Planning Program. I'm very active in the community service with an emphasis on our students. I currently serve on the Education Foundation for Lockhart ISD. I'm a member for the former secretary of the Lockhart Lions Club, and I worked with raising school supplies for Lockhart ISD students. I have served both as president and education chair for the Greater Caldwell County Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, including as chair for the Lockhart ISD Student Step Up to Success program. I initiated and organized the Hispanic Chamber's Cinco de Mayo 5K for the Chamber's Scholarship Fund. I also serve as board member of the Domitila H. and Timothy L. Juarez Senior and Excellence in Education Fund, a private family-run endowment that provides scholarship and school supplies for Lockhart ISD. I'm an active member of St. Mary's Visitation Catholic Church, where I am also a member of the Knights of Columbus and served on the St. Mary's Visitation Jamaica Committee. I'm a member of the Texas State Alumni Association. I served on the board member for the Caldwell County Appraisals District. I'm involved in many things throughout our community. But the one thing I'm most proud of is being a Lockhart Lion. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Reyes. First question is going to be for Ms. Lay. What is the best thing about LISD, and what would be your primary goal for improvement? And will you work to make sure the next bond is passed?
Good questions. So the best thing about LISD, of course, has been the growth that's happened, including what you see here with our PAC Center. When I first came to Lockhart, we were lacking. We were lacking in some resources, and we were lacking extracurricular. We were lacking a lot of the activities that our students now have an opportunity. And so there's been a lot of growth. And so I'd like to see that continue, as well as our fine arts teachers, our art teachers, music teachers that have been currently added to our school, and the professional development that's been granted to our teachers. So I think that there's still work that needs to be done, including our career and readiness, getting our students ready for their opportunity to be a wage earner in our community and around, depending upon what they choose and the choices that they want to make. There are careers that e-commerce and things that haven't even been really established yet. And so we know that there's a lot of unknowns as far as where our students are going to go. Do I think the bond needs to be passed? Absolutely.
I'm sorry, your time is up. Mr. Reyes, I'll repeat your question. What is the best thing about LISD, and what would your primary goal be for improvement? And how will you work to make sure the next bond is passed?
The best thing about Lockhart ISD, student achievement. I love seeing students succeed throughout the district. I will also focus on technology and classroom size. For all children to continue to strive in reading, math, and science, I support the district's mission in 1.5 and that accelerates and monitors student growth for college-ready, technology, and career-ready. 1.5 also is for science and math, so I definitely want to emphasize on that. Many classrooms throughout Lockhart ISD are capacity. And as a member of the Facility Bonds Committee, I discussed it throughout the school district, members throughout the school district discussed what was our best to accommodate students. because as significant numbers of student population increase every year, the district will need to focus on how to best accommodate student increases without affecting teaching and learning student success. So yes, I will focus on a bond package throughout to see where our classroom sizes need to be.
Thank you, Mr. Reyes. You'll have the next question as well. What are your views on vocational education and the importance in offering them for students who do not have a plan of going to college after graduation from Lockhart High School?
Can you repeat that again, please?
What are your views on vocational education and the importance in offering them to students who do not have a plan of going to college after graduation from Lockhart High School?
I will support every program that Lockhart ISD has. If every child wants to be in vocational, that's fine. But we also need to have them in college readiness, career readiness, military readiness. We need to support them whatever we can. And vocational would be the one that they want to go into. Most definitely, we would find the resources to help them. So yes, sir, I would definitely support our students in vocational.
Thank you. Ms. Lay, would you like me to repeat the question? Okay. What are your views on vocational education and the importance in offering them for students who do not have a plan of going to college after graduation from Lockhart High School?
I think that they're equally important. I think going to college provides a unique opportunity for our students to have the opportunity to think critically about the world around them, create some innovative ways. I think that vocational education is also an opportunity for students to get into a career choice, one that makes it important for them and their family, one that maybe they succeed in before even getting into education. A lot of times those skills are built within the community. And so we have to have vocational and educational programs. Lockhart High School has tons of them with our culinary arts, with our mechanics, with our STEM programs. And so I think having both is great for students. I think we need balance. And as a district, we're going to have to prioritize those balance the budget. But I also think that vocational definitely is very important to our community and to our students. And so I'd like to see both of them being offered, and I know that they are.
Ms. Lay, you now have 1 minute for a closing statement.
Thank you. I just want to thank you for giving me this opportunity to speak with you tonight, give you a little bit of insight where I am. I definitely have a fondness for our community. I am part of the boom that happened, and I'm very excited to continue that. I'm very happy about the academic goals that the district has set with the 1.5 for reading and for math, as well as students' college and readiness. And so I am ready to support the goals that our district has, as well as think of some new innovative ways for our upcoming students, because I know the decisions that we make now will affect students from 10 to 15 years from here on out. And so I want to be part of that. I thank you for the opportunity to do that. And I think you should vote for an educator, because this is one of those boards where we hold each other accountable in the education field. And this is the opportunity for me to do that. Thank you. Vote for Lori Lay.
Mr. Reyes, you now have 1 minute for a closing statement.
I find it inspiring that we all play a crucial role for public servants towards students. We all share the same devotion to improving what's best for our students for Lockhart ISD. We all take great pride. We build relationships with individuals from the community. We have a commitment to excellence. I'm a father of two in the school district. I have a 15-year-old and a 2-year-old that will soon be in kindergarten. I will support throughout now and our students that will be coming up. Wherever you see myself, I'm always helping out throughout the community. My family is always helping out. Wherever there's a Lockhart event, we are there. Wherever there's need, the Reyes family is there. We love Lockhart. I love Lockhart. And I want to see the students succeed for Lockhart ISD. Vote Rene Reyes. Thank you.
Thank you to both candidates, Ms. Lori Lay and Mr. Rene Reyes.
And now we have our final school board candidates for District 3. Mr. Nick Metzler, and Mr. Sam Lockhart. Mr. Metzler, we're going to give you 2 minutes for your opening remarks.
Hey, everybody. Hope everybody's doing well tonight. My name is Nick Metzler, and I'm working to earn your vote, trust, and confidence on November 3rd, 2020. This is in no way meant to diminish anyone's accomplishments, but honestly, will you remember me for my past accolades and awards, or for my decisions made here, now, and going forward? There are no opponents on any of these stages. It would be naive of us to believe that that was the case. We are all on the same team working towards the same goals. With policies and legislation being passed at such a rapid rate, it's going to take an entire community for us to rebuild. I firmly believe I should not rebuild alone. This is where the entire community comes into play. A platform for reparation, preparation, and innovation. Reparation of Lockhart Independent School District is going to require the school board to grow alongside with the community and surrounding areas. Preparing the open lines of communication between staff, students, administration, law enforcement, parents, and parents are major steps towards the innovation portion. My kids still attend Lockhart ISD schools and will for many years to come. So every decision the board makes has an impact on them, their friends, and everybody in this room. My heart has always been on the side of making things better for all kids. Equal opportunity education is what every child deserves. Really think about that when you cast your vote. I encourage you to hold all candidates to the same accountability of keeping children at the forefront and primary focus. I am here before you today with an open eyes, open mind, and open ears. Excuse me. I'm Nick Metzler, and I look forward to being of service to you, your family, as well as mine. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Lockhart, we would like a couple of minutes of your opening remarks, please.
Thank you. Hello, my name is Sam Lockhart, and I'm seeking the Lockhart ISD District 3 Board of Trustee position. I graduated from Llano High School, went to the Navy a month later. While in the Navy, I worked as an aviation electronics technician with my squadron VA-82. The squadron was attached to the aircraft carrier USS America. And on my second cruise, we spent most of our time in the Gulf of Tonkin, providing air support during the Vietnam War. I had 3 brothers and 2 sons who also served in the Navy. After the Navy, I went to Southwest Texas State University and earned a bachelor's degree in education. Later, I earned a Master of Education with a major in Educational Administration. Lockhart Junior High School hired me as a teacher and a coach, and for a time I was assistant principal there at the junior high. Spent 28 years at the junior high, and then I was transferred to Lockhart Pride High School as their principal, and then a year later they gave me additional duties as the district testing coordinator. I've been married to my wife Becky 38 years, and she is a Lockhart High School graduate. We have 3 sons, Sammy, Ryan, and Nolan, and they are also graduates of Lockhart High School. I retired in 2016 after 37 years with Lockhart ISD. I'd like to serve the students, parents, and the community as a school board member. I feel that my educational experience and the fact that I'm retired would be beneficial for this position. I would greatly appreciate your vote. Thank you.
Thank you. We have a couple of questions for y'all. Mr. Metzler, we're going to give you 1 minute to respond.
Yes, ma'am.
And here is your question.
Okay.
What do you anticipate accomplishing during your first 100 days in office that will demonstrate your support of the superintendent while steering the district towards sustainable academic success? And would you support a bond issue?
So that's difficult to say as far as what I'm going to do in my first 100 days. Given the current situation, I don't think anybody really knows what's going to happen in the next 100 days. So on that note, I'm going to leave that one alone because, again, it's impossible to foretell. But our job is to hold the superintendent accountable, so that won't change. And I think as far as the academics, the 1.5 years that they're trying to progress kids, I mean, that's as long as we can stick to that, I think we'll be doing just fine.
Thank you. Mr. Lockhart, would you like me to read the question again?
Sure, why not?
Okay. What do you anticipate accomplishing during your first 100 days in office that will demonstrate your support of the superintendent while steering the district towards sustainable academic success? And would you support a bond issue?
Okay, the bond issue keeps popping up. But as far as supporting superintendent, I've worked with Mark in the past. I have no problem supporting him now. I don't see myself not supporting him at all. As far as the bond issue, right now with COVID going on, that's one of those things that we're going to have to wait and see. But I will say that we are going to have to be able to convince the citizens of the independent school district that we need that, and tell them why we spent $63 million in 2014 and got what we got, and now we're coming back and wanting essentially the same kind of stuff for 93 million or 92 million. So that's going to be the work right there, not whether I support it or not, but whether we can convince the community we need it. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Lockhart, we're going to ask you to stay because we're going to give you another
Thank
question.
Lucky me.
Why are you running for this position? And what is the single best idea you have to improve LISD?
Okay, I think we're all running for the position for the same reason, because we want to support the children of our district. We want to be a part of it, and whether I win or lose, it's not going to change that. I still want to be a part of that. The second part of the question,
What is the single best idea you have to improve LISD?
okay, well, as far as single ideas, I don't have any single ideas. I have several that are not that great, but I want to run those past the superintendent and the other board members and see what they think. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Metzler, would you like to hear the question again?
If you don't mind, please.
I don't mind. Why are you running for this position? And what is the single best idea you have to improve LISD?
Reason for running for the position, I think that's pretty self-explanatory from my opening is my kids, your kids, everybody's kids, and for the community. That's the ultimate goal here. Now, the last part is something that I really wanted to hit on. Ideas to make this better. Career readiness. That's something that we very much need. Trades, electrical trades, AC trades. If I'm not mistaken, another one of the school districts around here, don't quote me on that, but when the kids leave, they're ready for college, or they have a certification in something, whether it be welding, whether it be AC, whether it be electrical, whether it be refrigeration, doesn't matter. I think that would greatly benefit the kids and the parents.
Okay, and if you'd like to stay and give us your 1-minute closing remarks.
Yes, ma'am. In closing, I'd like to remind everyone that I keep you updated on Facebook, and I provided my contact information to both chambers. I'd like to quote Stephen Covey, and I want you to really, really think about this quote. Most people do not listen with the intent to understand. They listen with the intent to reply. My wife and kids are watching right now, seeing me a little nervous. I know they're enjoying it. But I want to thank Kendra, Hayden, Mia, and Kingston for molding the person that you see standing before you here today. I love you guys, and thank you very much. I'm Nick Metzler, and I would greatly appreciate your support and vote on November 3rd, 2020 for Trustee District 3. Thank you.
Mr. Lockhart, your closing remarks, please.
Okay, I appreciate the opportunity to speak to the voters through the chamber. Thank you, Lockhart Chamber, for that, especially Linda and Kim, who I've worked with. I would, of course, love to have your vote. The most important thing is to vote. I've seen a lot of elections over the years, won and lost by less than 10 votes here, so don't want to see that. Early voting is almost painless and avoids the possibility of some last-minute issues on November 3rd, keeping you from the polls. Have a good evening, and don't forget to vote. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Metzler. Mr. Lockhart, we appreciate your time.
And thank you to all Lockhart ISD School Board candidates. Once again, Dr. Barbara Sanchez, Lisa Gerlitz, District 1, Ms. Lori Lay and Mr. Rene Reyes, District 2, Mr. Nick Metzler, Mr. Sam Lockhart, District 3, for their participation tonight. Mr. Warren Burnett is running unopposed and did not attend this evening.
You know, Abel, I think we need to tell some people more information about the early voting dates and times. We've touched on a little bit, but early voting, like we spoke about, begins on October the 13th, and it will go from October 13th through the 16th from 8 to 5.
On the 17th and 18th, the office is closed.
But on the 19th through the 23rd, 8 to 5 again.
And on Saturday, the 24th, from 9 to 7 p.m.
On Sunday the 25th, from 10 to 3.
And October 26th through 30th, from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Our final round of candidates are running for Lockhart Mayoral District 3 and City Council District 3 and 4. All city candidates present this evening are mentioned in ballot order. Mr. Juan Alvarez Jr., Mr. John Castillo, Mr. Andrew Cardenas, Dr. Lou White, Ms. Kara McGregor, and Mr. Jeffrey Michelson.
First up, we will have our mayoral candidates. Mr. Juan Alvarez Jr., we would appreciate a 2-minute opening statement, please.
My fellow neighbors, my name is Juan Alvarez Jr., Lockhart graduate in 1981. Attended Texas Lutheran College and ACC. Graduated from Durham Nixon Clay College. I am first generation Mexican American, father of 1 daughter and 2 sons and 2 grandchildren. All 3 of my kids operate restaurants in Lockhart. Member of St. Mary's, involved in Spanish and English choirs, Pastoral Council Vice President, 2020-2021 Jamaica Chair. To set the record straight, married 29 years, divorced. Present time, I am retired by default, District Court 421. The state statute, right to counsel, was denied. My hard-earned 50% stripped away. Last 2 years, been paying it forward. Experiences: newspaper boy, gravel company, convenience stores, Superior Dairies, board and milk, and accounting office, route sales, Buttercrust, route sales, general manager, partner, supervisor for Sonic Inc., 19 years. Contractor for my home, Old Luling Road, from foundation to the rooftop. Sidewalks, driveways, the late James Thompson and son were the framers. One bank denied me financing, house too big. Thank God the late Jim Fielder gave me the financing. Negotiated and purchased the Henry's Restaurant building and lot, and Jim Smith gave me that opportunity. In addition, 4 buildings around the Lockhart Square, 50 farmland acres, sold property on Highway 183 made this possible. My heroes are God, the late Juan J. Alvarez, and my mother, Angela Alvarez. I believe in the 10 Commandments, the Holy Rosary, Constitution, Bill of Rights, and freedom of free speech. Past member of the Lockhart School Board, Historical Preservation Commission, and Volunteer Fire Department Board. All this has prepared me for the office of mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Castillo, may we have 2 minutes of your time, please?
Hi, I'm Big John Castillo. I'm running for mayor. Good evening, Lockhart. Thank you for the opportunity to directly speak to you, directly to the community I love and I fight for. Many of you know me as your neighbor, as a community advocate for 20 years, and 9 years as your city council member. I have the experience, the plan that Lockhart needs for today, and the vision for a healthy and prosperous future. We're at the crossroads. One road takes us to the same old place. The other road is new vision and new leadership. I am Big John, and I have a really big vision. This means quality jobs, fruitful and stable economy, well-built infrastructure, public safety, and public health that our voters deserve, while also building community, magnifying our local artisans, craftspeople, and our vital local businesses. I want to build a community that's going to shine and be prideful in Central Texas. This is going to take a new vision, new direction, a lot of hard work, and I represent that change. As your mayor, I will wake up and work for you each day with the dedication, like I know you wake up to go to work for your families and for their futures. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Cardenas, may we have your 2-minute opening statement?
Hello, how are you? My name is Andrew
Andy Cardenas, but I don't usually go by Andrew. Everybody knows me by Andy. I'm a current resident here from Lockhart, born and raised here in Lockhart. I went to Lockhart High School, graduated in '79. I've been around for about all my life. I've known everybody around here. I succeeded a lot of stuff that I needed to do around Lockhart. But now I got a big challenge to head myself. Myself is to have a big challenge to become mayor for Lockhart. So my thing now is to talk to the community, to talk to the voters, to succeed as a big, big challenge to not myself, but to the voters out there to vote for me. I also been married for 35 years. I have 3 beautiful kids, 2 daughters, 1 son. I have 4 grandchildren. They all went to Lockhart High School. I have 2 grandchildren right now, the 1 in kindergarten and 1 in 1st grade. I do appreciate your vote, and thank you.
Thank you. Dr. White, a 2-minute opening statement, please.
Good evening. I'm Mayor Lou White. I want to thank, first of all, the chambers for organizing and sponsoring this event for the candidates tonight. I've been a resident of Lockhart for 40 years. I've been in private practice and dentistry for 40 years. I ran for council quite a few years ago, and I think I had the same goal as most people who run for public office, and that's, number one, to educate yourself as far as how city government is run, but more importantly, to help make your community a better place to live, to grow, and to be prosperous. I've always felt like a community needs to grow. If we're not moving forward, we're moving backwards. To that effect, as your mayor for the last 9 years, I have worked to create jobs. I've worked with businesses to bring jobs to Lockhart, and we shall continue to see growth in business. I've worked with developers to help build homes. We've built over 400 homes since I've been mayor. I will continue to advocate for major public safety improvements, such as the expansion of Highway 183 and the Safe Routes for Schools Sidewalks programs. I have been a big proponent of our public library and its expansion, of our Parks Department, which we recently spent over $1 million in improvements. And I think our biggest achievement here lately and our biggest promotion for our city is in the vibrancy of our downtown district. I've always been an advocate of saying that the best way to get people to come and visit Lockhart is to have programs around the square, and our square continues to be a big draw.
Thank you, Mayor White. We're gonna have to stop you there, but we'll bring you back in a minute. We have a couple of questions, and each one of y'all will be answering these questions. So first, Mr. Alvarez, and again, you will have 1 minute for your response. And it's kind of a long question. Given the rapidly evolving demographic landscape of Lockhart, how will your administration address this proactively to maintain the unique character of our town, combined with the vibrancy of a growing community? Could you please name your 3 priorities?
Priority number 1 to be visual. As mayor, I'll be out there selling Lockhart. Number 2, speaking the language. If you got to speak English, Spanish, let's do it. Let's make Lockhart lovable. What was the last part of the question?
If you could name 3 priorities and how to keep, make sure I read it correctly, how will your administration address the rapidly changing demographic to keep the unique character?
The voices of the people must be heard. The wants and the needs would need to be prioritized. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Castillo, would you like me to repeat the question?
Yes, please.
Okay. Given the rapidly evolving demographic landscape of Lockhart, how will your administration address this proactively to maintain the unique character of our town, combined with the vibrancy of a growing community. Could you name your 3 priorities?
Okay, the 3 priorities are that I would do under my administration is to evaluate what we have, what our advantages are. We're in the middle of the triangle between San Antonio and Austin, and we're going to see that growth. But one of the main ideas that we need to push is that we make the decisions. We don't tell the outside influences to dictate how we should grow. Secondly, too, we look at the best opportunities for job growth, job creation, housing. We have teachers and people here that want housing, but they can't afford it. We have teachers, police officers, firefighters that want that American dream and have those houses available. And another thing too, our transportation. We have to work on transportation. Those are going to be another problem. So those are my 3 platform items that I think we need to push for and solidify.
Thank you. Mr. Cardenas? Once again, given the rapidly evolving demographic landscape of Lockhart, how will your administration address this proactively to maintain the unique character of our town combined with the vibrancy of a growing community? Please name 3 priorities.
My 3 priorities for my administration would be meeting and greeting everybody. That would be number 1. Making sure, number 2, that you talk to everybody out there. A lot of people don't even talk to anybody out there, even when you're sitting up there as a community. My 3rd one would be taking a tour of the city of Lockhart, finding out what they need out there. You know, not a lot of people look at things out there, not in the districts. Everybody just passes through and doesn't say anything about their districts. My last thing, I do not have anything else to say, but that'll be everything. Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. White, would you like to hear the question?
Sure.
Okay. Given the rapidly evolving demographic landscape of Lockhart, how will your administration address this proactively to maintain the unique character of our town combined with the vibrancy of a growing community? Please name your 3 priorities.
Well, you hit the nail on the head when you say the Lockhart, when I moved here 40 years ago, is not the same Lockhart as we live in today. I would do my best to identify as many of the newcomers and try to invite them to become involved in our community committees and our community gatherings and such, because that's why they moved to Lockhart. They love the small town nature. I would continue to have our Economic Development Corporation actively recruiting new businesses and new jobs. And I would also continue to work with developers to identify housing opportunities for these people to live on short-term and long-term basis. It doesn't make any sense to create jobs if you don't have any place for these people to live. So we've got to attack it on several different fronts, and we've got to preserve our historic nature here.
Okay.
Thank you.
Dr. White, we're going to ask you to stay at the podium. We have the last question for your group. This question is, the contract with CTR for garbage collection will expire in the next few months. Would you consider making the contract for garbage collection public before it is put out to bid so that the council can receive public comment and find the best deal for the public?
I don't think that that's an unreasonable request. I think CTR has got a terrific track record for the city of Lockhart, and I think it's a very valued vendor, but I do think we have the responsibility in running our city business to look for any savings and any improvement in quality of service.
Thank you. Mr. Cardenas? Would you like the question?
Please.
The contract with Central Texas CTR for garbage collection will expire in the next few months. Would you consider making the contract for garbage collection public before it is put out for bid so that the council can receive public comment and find the best deal for the public?
I would say yes, as long as we have the CTR right now, and I've met a lot of the CTR's workers at this time. A lot of them come to my business, and I know a lot of them go to a lot of different businesses to pick up the trash. But I would consider them, to keep their contract going all the way. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Castillo? Do you need the question?
No, I'm fine. No, yes, definitely. I would allow them. We need to go out and look for and see what the competition is, the rates in the area. I know we've been in partnership with them for a very long time. They do provide a service, but with the growing times and in different avenues, we have to find if that's the best bang for our dollar. We have to make sure that our citizens are protected, both to see if we have an opportunity to make the best contract negotiations to get the best value, or we seek other outside vendors that may be able to provide a better and more meaningful discounted rate, providing the same service. So that's I would accept looking out for another vendor, so we can be fair in the process to our citizens of this community.
Thank you. Mr. Alvarez? Would you like the question?
Yes, ma'am, please.
Of course. The contract with CTR for garbage collection will expire in the next few months. Would you consider making the contract for garbage collection public before it is put out for bid so that the council can receive public comment and find the best deal for the public?
I'm hoping that all contracts are open public to our citizens. And yes, because then you can get more, there's more competition. Competition is good. So I believe all contracts need to be gone to the public. We need to hear what the public is saying, and then look at the contract to see what's going to be better for Lockhart for the future, whatever the contract is. I'm not sure if it's a 2-3 year contract, but it makes it good for everybody, to make everybody aware, because there is a lot of concerns out there for any vendor. So my office would be open for all contracts to again be out to the public. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Alvarez, we're going to ask you to stay at the podium for us. And if you'll please give us your 1-minute closing statement.
I have the pulse of the community. I can make a friend easily. The office of mayor needs a new direction. Jobs, jobs, jobs. Shop local for our citizens. Our city needs to keep money local also. I will be a 24/7 mayor's office. Dedication and perseverance will stop until I won't stop until the job gets done. Stop building little water fountains. Stop building little bird baths. We need big water fountains. I will be fair, balanced, as my dad would say in Spanish. Your voice counts. I'm asking for your vote. May God bless Lockhart, the state of Texas, and the United States. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Mr. Castillo, your final statement, please.
Okay, thank you to both chambers for your time and consideration. I'd also like to thank my parents, Gilbert and Ramona Castillo, for giving me the opportunity to run for mayor in the city I was born and raised in. Our town's voices count more than ever now. It's time for everyone to have a seat at the table. Let's work together and bring back our sense of community. The hardworking people of Lockhart deserve good quality jobs and infrastructure that can support that. It's important to be inclusive as we move forward for the well-being of Lockhart. I need your voice. I need your support, and importantly, need your vote. Help me to fight for the future that includes all of us, not just the select few. My name is Big John Castillo. Thank you for your time and consideration. Vote Big John November 3rd in this upcoming mayoral election. Have a good evening.
Thank you. Mr. Cardenas, your 1 minute closing statement.
As I said earlier, my name is Andy Cardenas, but I never go by Andrew. I go by Andy. Everybody knows me by Andy. A lot of people don't know who Andrew is. I've had a lot of customers come by Lockhart Ace and ask me, who is Andrew Cardenas? Okay, they don't know me by that name, but my name is Andy Cardenas, and that's what I go by. I was born here, and I've known a lot of the residents here in Lockhart. A lot of them knew me when we were kids. I had friends, I had relatives. I mean, my wife supports me, my kid supports me. But I do ask for y'all's votes, and I ask for your voice to support Andy Cardenas for your next mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. And Dr. White, your final closing statement, please.
Out of 9 years, this has been the most difficult year to serve as mayor. With the onset of the COVID virus in our community, it's taken its toll, and I've had to make the strong decisions, responsible decisions for the health and welfare of our community. Haven't always been popular ones, and I have spent many a nights tossing and turning, second guessing the decisions I've made. But I think I've made the decisions for the best for the community, like I have in all facets. I think I've made made decisions with common sense, with honesty. I've listened to the citizens. I've let them speak, and I try to be the example for our council and for the citizens in our community. I'd appreciate your support in this upcoming election, and congratulations to the other 3 candidates. I appreciate them putting their names forth for consideration. Thank you.
Thank you to all of our mayoral candidates.
Up next, running unopposed for District 3 is Ms. Kara McGregor. Ms. McGregor, you have 3 minutes to make a statement.
Thank you. I have the honor of running unopposed this year, so I will be brief, but I want you to know a little bit about me as you hover over that box next to my name on the ballot. I was born on the east side of Austin, a very diverse community, when Austin was a very sleepy little town. It got a lot noisier and shinier, and I came to Lockhart almost 20 years ago to find that same small town and that community and that warmth, and I found it, and I'm proud to have been your city council person for District 3 for the past 3 years. I'm a UT Longhorn. I'm a business person. Some things that I am proud to have stood for in the last 3 years on the city council: I've cast votes in favor of quality housing. We desperately need new housing to support all other initiatives that are happening in Lockhart. I have voted in favor of improvements to parks, streets, sidewalks, the kitchen table issues that affect our day-to-day experience of living in Lockhart. I will say I'm an ardent supporter of LISD's bond issue. It's not an agenda item of the council, but I want to encourage everyone to consider how important the health of our schools is and the quality of our education is to the continued vitality of Lockhart. I'm proud to have cast votes for new technology in Lockhart, some new infrastructure to help new kinds of businesses come here and thrive. We've made votes in favor of new economic investments that will bring jobs, that will bring new economic opportunity for citizens that want to live and work in Lockhart. And I will say that along with the rest of my fellow council members and the mayor, we were very thrilled this year to vote in favor of not raising the property tax rate for this year. I am, again, a business person. I'm a mom of a kid that I raised here, gardener, pretty good carpenter, and proud to serve as your city council member for District 3. Thank you.
Thank you, Kara.
And our final speaker of the evening is also running unopposed for District 4, Mr. Jeffrey Michelson. Jeffrey, you will have 3 minutes.
Thank you. Sit on, okay. Good evening. Let me first start by thanking the Lockhart Chamber of Commerce and the Greater Caldwell County Hispanic Chamber for hosting this virtual Meet the Candidate Forum this evening. My name's Jeffrey Michelson, and I've lived in Lockhart for most of my life, since 1978. And I'm running for the City of Lockhart City Council District 4 position. I'm running for my third term unopposed. As I represent District 4, I feel that as this community grows, that my job is not only to represent my district, but the whole community of Lockhart, Texas. We as a council, and when I say that, I mean all, because it can't be done by just one of us, has continued to improve our parks, streets, and most importantly, will continue to work to bring business and manufacturing to our community. I will say this is not done overnight. I wish it would be, but it's not. We also continue to improve infrastructure, and I'm sure as most have seen, the new water tower on SH 130 with our new logo. In conclusion, it has been a pleasure serving District 4 and the whole community of Lockhart, Texas, and I look forward with the council to continue improving our community. I ask for your vote, and thank you, and have a good night.
Thank you. Thank you for District 3 and 4 candidates appearing tonight. And again, thank you to all of the Lockhart City candidates.
If you have any questions about how to find your polling place or to check your voter registration status, you can do so at the website displayed currently. In addition, you can also contact the Caldwell County Elections Office with any questions.
And again tonight, we'd like to thank all of the participating candidates, and we would like to thank the sponsors once again, the Greater Caldwell County Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, the Caldwell County Sheriff Association, the Lockhart Chamber of Commerce, and the Lockhart Independent School District. And again, we want to remind you of these very important voting dates. Again, the last day to register to vote is Monday, October the 5th.
And early voting begins on Tuesday, October 13th.
Early voting will end on Friday, October 30th.
And Election Day, of course, Tuesday, November 3rd.
Thank you to everyone listening from home, and this will conclude the Meet the Candidate Forum. And remember, your vote counts.